Let's go. All right. What's good, y'all? My name's Open Book. This is my partner.
Hey guys, this is Harith and welcome back to True Space.
Yup. And let's break down Virgo season and how it's going to be hitting all of us and the energies that we can look out for and how we can manifest the best out of this time of harvest. So we're coming from Leo season, the pinnacle of the sun, the pinnacle of that story, going transitioning into Virgo season. What are the key things that we have learned or that we have went through and seen with the sun that has been shed light on when the sun in its home in Leo that we can take and start to more practicalize and start to perfect in Virgo. So what were the key takeaways from Leo season?
So in Leo season, we basically learn how to focus on expressing our gift or our character on the stage. And basically, right now in Virgo season, our goal is gonna right now be to practicalize or harvest what we did on the stage or like what we've been building on our performance on this character we'll be building for Leo season.
Building on that character and how you um express yourself. Basically we had Venus in there with the sun too. We had Mercury was in here earlier too, kind of aiding with the sun, maybe making it more Leo season a lot more lighter, a lot more you know enjoyable or enjoyment focused. But that could have been showing exposing a lot of areas that we're having a little bit too much in fun in, that we're maybe indulging a little bit too much into, giving a little bit too much attention to things. And then you can tell by the shit that you are manifesting based off of um Leo is like ultimate manifestation energy, because this is when your energy is really focused because the sun's in Leo. So what you pay attention to in Leo season, it's just it's just amplified. It just has a stronger energy to it. And then we had what, Jupiter in Taurus and shit too. That was squaring the sun as it was going through Leo season two, kind of creating that it was hard to grow and expand in a secure, stable way for us to develop understandings and stability as we are creatively expressing ourselves, because that takes risks. Like maybe a lot of people are experimenting with a lot of things in terms of their identity, whether switching up on how you present yourself or maybe just being more authentic in how you present yourself. People maybe didn't know, the sun goes into Leo and all of a sudden you have all of this confidence to express yourself authentically, and then people around you who maybe never seen that core aspect of you is looking at you like why are you switching up, or where did this come from, or what is all of that. It's kind of making it hard. Maybe now people don't trust you as much, or you're experiencing aspects of distrust as you start to express your more authentic self, whether it be more self-centered, you start to be more person-centered and stop maybe giving to others, or maybe you're more risking and daring and less stable oriented. So all of those things would have been coming up in Leo season for us to come into Virgo season. So how do you think that we can practicalize and organize that coming into Virgo season, everything that we went through in Leo?
So basically, Virgo energy is basically the hermit energy or like a manager energy, and your goal here is basically to start creating routines and patterns that you think that will help you to uphold or build on this character or this performance that you've been building on so far. And Virgo is basically gonna help you to like integrate it on a deeper level and like take it to the next level and prepare you for Libra and for the next social life. But for you to get to the like social life, you have to go through Virgo first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. Virgo is like the hinge. It's funny how they equate it to the mother, to the Virgin Mary and stuff like that. Uh, which is interesting because like that's kind of like your mom sees you off at graduation type of energy, where you're not done life at graduation. you're proceeding to a higher level, to a higher stage, the second half of the zodiac, where things are more collective type deal. But your mom kind of sees you off. She checks your jacket. You don't fix your thing. You got some snot in your nose. She tells you go wipe your nose. You got some mata in your eye. She go and wipes the crust out your eye and thing them so that you can be more presentable to go out. And she might nag you and scold you. You know, she told you to wash your balls. You know, she told you to change your underwear. She sees the sweat stains on your booty. You know, so but luckily, mom brought the extra pair of underwear so you don't have to be swamp ass all the time and shit like that. You know, it's that type of energy that you're going into, where if you're going to be that authentic self, that authentic expression of yourself, you have to figure out how that works with others and how that mends with others. That's why I feel Leo season is, you should be self-centered. You should be selfish to a degree. Obviously, you shouldn't take that too far, but try that shit. You don't know if it's going to work. You don't know how people are going to respond. You don't know if this light or that creative expression is what your soul's been yearning for, you know? So Leo season is about trying that shit. And then Virgo's when you start to reap all of it, you know? So you can start paying hell for all of this shit that you express. But if you were honest and genuine in Leo season, which is key when we're talking about solar aspects, when we're talking about what's visible, everything's visible in Leo season. So once you start lying or you have ulterior motives, like that shit's way more obvious. And then that's what creates the problems when you're trying to express those aspects, because of the lack of honesty, the lack of authenticity. The sun is always coming authentic, always, and then that prepares it for Virgo. Because if you weren't authentic, that's what I always think. Like when people we'll talk about girls or some shit like that. Niggas would be fantasizing over girls like Raekwon, like Raekwon with Nicole and shit like that. But he's in love with Shorty for years and never asked her out, type of shit. Where it's like, what's the point? And then he would go and bitch about not being with her, or all of these things, but you've never asked. And even if you know she's gonna say no, which she would, which she was going to anyways. At least you had gotten that out of the way, and you know you can grow, and you would know maybe there's different approaches. Maybe it's a no because of this, and then you could get rid of that aspect, or maybe it's a you know maybe there's another girl that's better. Those types of aspects. So you really have to stay honest and genuine, so that when things start getting assimilated and analyzed and perfected in Virgo season, you're perfecting your honest, truest self, not random things that you thought were fun, or an entertainment that you're trying to sustain, type of deal.
Like, Leo season reminds you of like every like rapper stories, and like how far can they make it like in the rap industry, and like um during Virgo season, we get to see like what the rappers gonna pay attention to their management, pay attention to their contracts, pay attention to their routines and stuff like that. The few rappers who do are the rappers who like achieve longevity, like Jay Z, Nas, and these other rappers. But the other rappers just come express those Leo qualities on this stage, and they don't build on them, and they don't focus on the other aspect. They get to experience the negative side of like the music industry, where the management Virgo takes advantage of them, Capricorn, the business industry takes advantage of them, Aquarius, who's opposite of them, takes advantage of them, and they become victim, they become the sacrifice. Leo.
Yeah, literally, yeah. Capricorn, they don't have ownership of their shit, 100%. And then look at that energy, how we're talking about Virgo being the hinge, literally the before the second half. So it's right. They don't make it past that next stage. They don't make it past that because they're stuck on that Leo, and maybe they can still garner a level of fame, like say some like old school rapper, like or not old school, but like some old rapper that's not big but still will make money. I'm trying to think of a rapper like fucking. I was gonna say LL Cool J, but that nigga was the biggest thing at the time, so he wouldn't work.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
some little rapper, one of these white rappers or some shit like that, So one of these niggas, like maybe they would have been like a star, a Leo. They built a fan base, but they never ascended to the level of constellations. You know, they never ascended to that higher level where Jay-Z and Nas is, where you're signing other people. You know what I mean? Maybe you can have a little fan base, but nobody wants to sign under you, or you don't have enough to make a record label under your own name, and then sign other niggas around you to become a bigger constellation type of deal. But
Mm-hmm.
niggas get stuck at that Leo phase for sure because it's entertaining and it's fun, and then you can create visions, self-centered visions based off of positivity or fun things, and get lost in them and fixated in them, and not let people take you out of it. And then within that time, in that vision, you can be having a good time, but your life is burning up around you. Everything's burning up around you, and now you're forced to stay in that imagination. Because if you leave out, it's the harsh realities of what it was you were running away from, and all the relationships you destroyed, and all of that. So you have to stay into that delusion, and now you're stuck. Now you're fucked, and you don't want to be in that situation. 100%. But that's what Virgo's for. Virgo's, it's not springtime, it's summertime, but it's summer cleaning. It's that cleaning time where we've been indulging all summer. You've been crying your ass off in Cancer, getting all emotional, catching feelings. Then you're running around with your dick out, Leo season and shit like that. Now it's time to put your dick away, to wash yourself, to clean up, be a little bit more presentable. Start to question your dick, start be like, what can I do with this? Start to utilize it, figure out its abilities and stuff like that. Now you start doing little tricks with it. Now you can, how shorty. You ever seen how shorties would take the stems of cherries off with their tongue and then tie it or some shit like that? It's a thing on TV. Niggas be doing that with the peepees now. You be taking a stem, be tying it with the. That's Virgo season, man. That's Virgo season where you start really practicalizing the things that you've been indulging into. Niggas is out here just fucking, with girls having a good time, trying to bust a nut and doing all of that. And then there's niggas out here fucking girls to pay for rent. Then there's niggas out here fucking girls to do, they utilizing fucking whatever they was doing for a more stable situation, a more positive situation. And maybe he's actually helping out the girl. Maybe she's happier, more pepper in her step. Who knows? But more of a utilization of these aspects of the things that you're into. Some people don't realize. They don't realize that they can capitalize on the things that they are already into. They think that they have to go and switch and do what someone else is doing, especially with Virgo energy, where we're talking about working with others. So much people are so much compelled to take someone else's structure to work for other people, and to not really learn how to center that Virgo energy themselves. But it's because of coming discombobulated from Leo season, where you have to play catch up energy. So you don't know yourself, and you don't know your authentic inspiration, and you never express that. So when you're trying to work with everybody and trying to piece it together, you never said you don't like pickles on your sandwich. So now all you're getting is bare pickles. It's nothing but pickles on your sandwich. But your bitch ass never said that you didn't want pickles on your sandwich. So that's all you're gonna get. Now you have to. Now there's all of the stress, this discombobulated issues because of not that creative expression. And then I guess you're a Virgo moon too, so you know this Virgo energy well. You know this Virgo energy well.
Yeah. Well, if you didn't spend your time to express your character and build on some form of performance this Virgo season, you're not gonna have something to work on, practicalize, and like build a routine around, and which is gonna make you very worried, very angry too, because
Yeah.
we have Pluto in Capricorn retrograde, Uranus is in Taurus, Jupiter there, so there's a heavy emphasis on the Earth energy, and like having Virgo season right now, this is a great time to organize all the resources that we're building there, expanding with Jupiter, trying to be unique and original with Uranus there. You've been building a value, like you've been having like you have a lot of bricks with Virgo right now, you could manage these bricks, like put them in the right places and like integrate them. But like if you don't have, you've been not being put to work in Leo season, that were you supposed to pump the blood, aka the main factor that's to keep you alive, using that energy, then you're not gonna really be able to integrate all this value.
100%. And that's kind of how the earth energy plays out, where niggas be neglecting, the hard work, the tedious, the slow moving aspects. But when shit hits the fan, like what Harith was saying, you're supposed to have a certain foundation already built, or a certain level of practicality already built, so that you could mitigate certain things that had happened to you. But that takes time, and that takes effort, and that takes, you getting into physicality and understanding these things.
Mhm.
A lot of us be running away from shit like that. So when Virgo season comes and you've been had this material, you've been had this opportunity to build a new level, or like, say for example, you've been know that whatever, say what occupation you in were in, or whatever you were depending on for stability, the market changed, values are going down, but you never put yourself in a new spot to start imagining of what different shape of form value can take, what else you can provide, what other ways you can be stable. You try to hold on to that same stability. Now Virgo seasons come, give you the opportunity where, if you had let go, or you have broadened your mind into looking for new ways of being stable with all of this pressure on stability, when Virgo comes, there would be, like what Harris was saying, now you would have something already to develop a routine and pattern around, for you to start to perfect and to start to build up to be presentable to other people. But without that, so we really need to stop neglecting the earth signs. I think there's a whole misunderstanding of earth. Like
I,
niggas.
I would say because like Leo energy deal like with the moment, the now, while maybe Taurus deal with like the past and like the things, the old things that don't matter. Like people don't give a fuck about their physical body; they care about having fun. Leo, the summer, enjoying, drinking, and like whatever. So it makes sense. We enjoy the fire, water aspect of things, not the air, and earth. If you think about it from like a element point of view.
100%. Look at Leo being the heart, even, or Leo would be like a. It's like you're looking at what you're eating and what you're putting into your body, but you're not looking at digestion. Like niggas is talking about the gut, but they're not looking at your intestines, type of deal. If you get what I mean, where you forget about that Virgo part, where niggas don't think about their guts in terms of digestion, or their intestines. They think about their stomach, their gut, and they think that that's where digestion happens, but they don't realize the extraction that happens
They don't. This you was so funny. They don't
in the.
realize all the details because they deal with Virgo about their digestive system. So it makes sense though.
Exactly. It's just the stomach, or just fills up in the stomach, type deal, and then that's it. And then I poop it out. But you don't realize all the details
Yeah.
of the microvilli that's soaking up all the nutrients, very minute nutrients and shit like that. That's going in like that. 100%. We don't understand Earth, man. Like even me, I'm guilty of it. Looking at Earth as too rough and dry, and lacking spirituality. I always equated Earth with an absence of spirituality, materialism, practicality, and then and don't mind me, I have my sun in my Saturn in Taurus opposite my sun in Scorpio, so me and Earth been beefing, and niggas been, oh, where's your practicality? But I have dreams though, I have visions though. We don't give a fuck about your where's your practicality? I'm working on it. I'm doing it. But that's how it would be. But as life went on, as these battles with Saturn have been going on, I started to see the spirituality in the material, and you really start to understand that the material is just the denser form of
The
the
spiritual.
lighter,
Yeah.
of the spiritual, and it's mimic. It's not separate. It's
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 the
just a
same thing.
denser. It's the exact same thing. It's just
It,
a
it,
denser form.
it makes you realize the spirituality and like boring things like business and things like that, which majority of people don't wouldn't look at these things as spiritual at all, but the root of them, they is spiritual.
economics economics is a great example, and then learning biology starts making me look into it. And when you
It's
understand
the same
planetary,
thing.
it's the exact same thing. When you understand planetary correspondences too, and how planets go into all of these different aspects, and then you start seeing carbon, how it's covalent, how it likes to share, and how it all of that. And then you start seeing these correspondences, how Venus is being there, associating with the carbon and the melanin, and then it's also with finances, and then the carbon, how it exchanges things and how it creates stability is the exact same way how monetary ways where you can create stability, even so where you can see how things play out on a molecular level to make sense within this realm of reality. You see it playing out on a macro level with the same laws applying to those situations in terms of down into the, like we're talking about the gut with Virgo, down to the bacteria battles, and that's going in inside of your stomach. There's parasites, and all stealing nutrients and all of like all of this stuff is happening on a macro level too. So if we understand Earth, if we truly understand Earth, we would understand spirituality on a deep level, on a visceral level, on a physical, real level. If we got to that level of knowledge.
No, because like we don't look at Earth, the place we live, as a star. Like we forget we live on a star.
Yeah,
Like
literally.
always that. Like we don't realize that. So we forget like Earth has a certain energy to it. Like because I think Earth like rules by Taurus, so it deals with growth, nurture, and you could see these home security like themes around the entire Earth. Everybody's trying to find a home, build a civilization, get a land, and like and shit like that.
The most abundant, well, I don't know if this is true, or bacteria probably beat it out, but visually, the most abundant organism in Earth, visually at least, is like trees and vegetation and foliage and stuff like that. Things that are stable, things that are slower moving, things that require a certain level of comfort, and that they're stable, they're grounded. If everything's right, they'll live for thousands of years. They'll keep on growing, that type of shit. So I could so see Earth representing Taurus energy in terms of, the slow progression of things, and the supportingness of Earth. I bet Earth is maybe more denser than all of the other planets too, to a degree. I don't know if that's true, but that would be crazy if it plays out like that in terms of atmosphere and solidity. Maybe the other planets are more hollow, or whatever it may be. Jupiter is allegedly a gas giant. And who knows if all of this, those are even real characteristics of the fucking planets, or the shadow government is just playing games. But
Mhm.
you can see these things in real life when you start really taking the physical serious. So this is Virgo season. We really need to peep that right now, especially with Jupiter in Taurus, especially with Uranus in Taurus. If we don't get the spirituality now in the mundane and the value, we're gonna be lost. When the shadow government one goes and changes a whole new system, you're gonna be discombobulated. You're gonna be out here shaking ass for a Bitcoin, or for whatever,
Mhm.
because you didn't understand that a garden was equal of value. If you get what I mean, where you maybe you wouldn't have had to suck the dick or shake the ass to get the digital currency if you had a garden, or understand value to that level. If you get what I mean, where you were able to transition into not being stuck into one form of that representation, but you understood the stability, the what it represented, so you can have it in a different shape and form. And that's Virgo season. If we're talking about a different shape of form, kind of like molding clay, molding an earth material that you already had, making it mutable so it can be utilized for different purposes, that's Virgo season. So we can really start to understand that. And if we've been neglecting those other earth energies, you haven't been looking at Taurus energy, what makes you stable, what gives you value, what your gifts and talents are, and how you understand that and experience that within your life, how you rebel and oppose against other people's stability, or other people's value, in order to understand more about yourself, or to be an individual within how you create stability for yourself. If we haven't been looking at that, there's a lot of catch up that needs to be had in this
Mhm.
Virgo season.
100%. With Virgo, since it's ruled by Mercury and like an air-like planet, it gives it like a mental ability to look over all these, you could say there's new things that have been happening in the economics world. So I'm pretty sure, pretty sure that in Virgo season, you guys gonna pick up on all this new stuff that been like getting put through Uranus and Taurus, Jupiter and Taurus, and able actually be able to integrate them for your daily life.
100%, 100%. And like a real key for this Virgo season, which shit, I should be talking to myself, but I am talking to myself. But a real key would be to really to eat light and to really watch what you consume, and then mind your health on this Virgo season too. Maybe start picking up some supplements, you know, um, that those type of stuff. Some or pick up some fiber. Get some fiber, some shit like that, and clean your intestines. You know, clean that shit out. Get you some a big salad. Make it a bishop to get like a big bowl of salad this Virgo
Mm-hmm.
season to really start clearing your colon and to eat light, because like what Harith was just saying, where there's a lot of assimilation where we can really utilize and make sense out of things. But if we're heavy, if we don't have a level of clarity, it will get overwhelming. It will become worrisome. We will um overexert ourselves mentally as we have this observing perspective of it. But when you're light, when you're on that lighter frequency, when you're really watching what you're consuming, and you're taking care of your health and your time is structured in what you're doing, there's purpose to what you're doing. There's purpose to your day and how you're organizing your day. That's exponentially. There's no worrying about things. It's just action, and that doesn't mean that everything's gonna be smooth, that everything's gonna be peachy and keen. But you're gonna know you're gonna have a system to attack those problems, and it won't feel as imposing on you because you're doing something actively to take care of it. And that's why momentum is so important, like especially when we're transitioning into different seasons. Momentum is so important. I think that's why these masons fucking focus on the last degrees of a sign and the beginning degrees of a sign with the whole fucking 33 degrees and shit like that. How you're not fully into a sign until you're 3 degrees into a sign. Otherwise, it carries some traits or energy of the previous sign. But that's true because everything's a transition. Everything's a transition. So it's not going to be. So momentum is important. It reminds me of Millie. She used to tell me that in yoga, it's more important you how you transition from pose to pose than the pose itself.
You know that's very important. Yeah, yeah, because that's what makes it look, give it the godly aspect. If you
100, how you connect all of the modes. Now it's one thing. Otherwise, you did a bunch of different intermediate stretches within breaks, type of deal.
and even in exercise or sports, that's the highest form of like work because you take small things and then you integrate them in the whole process.
Like mobility type of
Yeah, basically, yeah,
workouts and shit like that, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, one
yeah.
hundred percent. 100%. Oh, even shit like that, yo. Like some mobility type of shit. Like we're giving you the keys right here for Virgo season. Like this is going to help you. This stuff will help clear you, put you in the frequency of Virgo season.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are simulating these things in your life, it happens so much faster. It happens so much, and there's not as much resistance because you're already on that frequency and vibe all the time to be able to receive the information and be in accordance. You wouldn't have to be, you'll just touch someone's hand and be like, oh, I gotta go wash my hands or some shit like that. That's how you know you in the vibe of Virgo season. After you dap a nigga up and feel like you need to go wash your hands, if you don't feel like you need to wash your hands after that, and you feel his hands is crusty or some shit like that, you don't feel like you're washing your hands, maybe you need to go and check yourself. You're not in the right vibe. But these types of things. So mobility, I remember doing some mobility workouts, and the shit that he was having me do, I was like, yo, I have muscles there, my nigga. Like I didn't even know. He was doing workouts to not even work out, but to build awareness of certain body parts. I was like, yo, what is this? And then you start realizing different body parts and you didn't realize that part was of you was sore, but because of he showed you how to move that particular way, you get to stretch out a sore spot that you the sore muscle that you didn't even know you had type shit.
Yeah, 100%. And that's how a lot of people like get their certain pains. They don't know where it comes from because they didn't develop awareness in certain areas, like especially with our elders and our parents. There's certain movement they cannot do whatsoever. But if they could go through it, that would be the same movement that would have fixed their knee pain, their back
Yeah.
pain, or something like that. But they didn't take their time to build awareness in it. You could see that like everywhere. Like right now, everybody who works in corporation job, they have to sit in computers and be in a certain position for a long period of time, and that creates a lot of restrictions and boundaries built over time. It basically creates a bad posture, bad everything, bad biology, and like bad mental health. Like basically,
Bad everything, yeah, for real shit. Like in my job, sometimes I have to sit down for a couple of hours and do computer work and invoices and shit like that. And if I don't stretch that morning,
bro.
god damn, I'm restless. I can't sit down, and you're less attentive at what you're doing because I didn't stretch out my hips, because I didn't get those things. But without that, but when you do, it's fine. I can sit down for a longer period of time. Shit, isn't that why they stretch? This is why they do yoga, so that they can meditate for longer periods of time.
A hundred
It's the
percent,
whole
because
point of it.
like you think of stretching, you're stretching out the muscular system Sagittarius, but by stretching out the muscular system, you have Capricorn. Capricorn is the restrictions, the boundaries, the bones, the ligaments. So you can
Mm-hmm.
release all the controls. So what could flow
Ah.
after Aquarius, the energy, the meridian system.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting. And then you can start channeling too.
yeah,
Aquarius talk
hundred
about
percent.
getting
Yeah,
information, getting downloads and shit like
yeah,
that.
yeah. That's why everybody who stretches, it shares this one concept. You feel free, like your joints feel less restricted. Like basically, like
One
that's the
hundred
whole
percent.
point too.
That's the whole point. That's the whole point. And it's sustained endurance too. Like it's throughout the day, you know what I mean? Just even walking, you walk different when you don't stretch, or when you're tight and stuff like that. And then
Mm-hmm.
look at and then
Mm-hmm.
look at how you work worse when you're like that. That's a whole representation of Virgo, man. Like really like tight joints, like tight muscles and shit like that. Where
Yeah, yeah, essentially, yeah, 100%. You know, like paying, like during Virgo season, since it deal with Mercury, you wanna be light and move around. But since it deal with the Earth element, you wanna have a certain lightness that's practical. You wanna have a certain routine, but you wanna be open up. You wanna be open up to the idea of changing your routine as you go through it, as you move around, find more information and learn it. Because that's Virgo energy on the highest form, is the ability to be practical but continues being practical. It's like editing something, but it never gets completed. But like that's the whole point.
well, the whole point, the refinement process, and this is why authenticity from Leo season is so important to come into Virgo season, because now in Virgo season you're kind of becoming like the judge type of deal, or judge type of energy. And whether you are the practical judge, where you're trying to actually give them constructive criticism, or you're just gonna be Simon Cowell, and you're just gonna be saying nasty things, to people. You're just gonna be mean,
Yeah,
to get the clicks and to get the views and shit like that. But it's that judgment where Virgo will have you. Yo, watch for this Virgo season. I've never seen more than the Virgos in my life. The nastiness, the
bro,
pettiness.
bro,
Like
I'm
I'm
feel
a Scorpio. I sneak this. Like you don't know that I said it to you, but deep down I'm laughing by myself. Virgo, they'll say it to your face. They'll say
bro,
it to your face.
bro, like my since my dad and my younger brother, no, my twin brother, all of them are Virgo. I've seen my entire life. That like Virgo is criticism without caring about how you feel. It would dismantle your subconscious mind, but it's really come from a positive place, so you could improve. As a child, you will perceive it as like them trying to destroy you completely, because like you don't have any like self-defense awareness system for it. You just feel it like
Literally.
cutting through you and describing the details of your existence and how your movement pissed them off, and how the way expressed themselves made you feel this way, like a whole, like just it makes you feel Virgo energy make you feel the sharpness like of life, and like it makes it pops out more, so you can point it out. Like
100%, 100, and it can become unbearing. So whether you're in that seat, you have to watch yourself, because that critic, that inner critic, like you're right, that like your parents may be right in terms of maybe doing some dumbass shit, or you may be right in terms of that crusty ass nigga shouldn't have done that, or he shouldn't have left that there, or they would have shouldn't have done that. But you can really separate yourself from the moment and get lost in the devil in the details, and kind of lose yourself from the purpose of what you're trying to do, which is, especially look at what's going to progress later. Libra season, balance and harmony, where you can start to learn to balance energy. So you can see how within those examples, when the self-critic takes over and you're over judgmental, you're over critical, but you never provided any means, not even a friendly bridge for better cooperation to happen. So when it's Libra season and you need to start making teams, apparently nobody's picking you. Nobody wants to be on your team,
yeah,
or
yeah,
your relationships are getting in the way now. You know that type of shit. You know, like
yeah. They don't want to hear all that the criticism. Your tongue is so sharp. They would prefer to pick a dumber nigga. Like trust me,
literally.
because it makes it easy just to move. Like we know we're not gonna get that much result, but like it makes it easier to go.
100%, 100%, and it's even more important for the inner critic too, because like we be doing that to ourselves. We're nasty to ourselves in terms of that inner critic, and most of the time it's not even our own voice, it's not even our own thoughts, it's other people's thoughts, it's intrusive thoughts, it's your fifth grade English teacher who made fun of you for not being able to spell. It's your it's that type of shit, you know, like that mean girl in class that said your hair was ugly type shit. That like when you cussing off your niggas and shit like that, like that's really who you talking. That's really who sparked the anger, or who sparked that judgmental aspects within our mind. And we don't understand these things, and we don't look at these things and unpack these things and trying to understand them, practicalize them. That inner critic is so beneficial. It keeps you on your toes. Trust me, there's other niggas, more Piscean, Neptune type niggas who don't self check, and then niggas is in la la land. Niggas is in a whole different realm of reality, you know, because they didn't like that self criticism. Niggas is in pyramid schemes. Niggas is in cults. You know, niggas is in all different, because niggas want to believe, right? You know, they out here, you know, giving some shorty all of their money. They know she's cheating on him type thing, but the nigga wants to believe. You know, that type of energy, where that's the extreme on the other side. So you want to keep that self-critic around. It checks you, and it's the most honest. It could be the most honest, like what I was saying, transition from Leo, the authenticity and of your individual expression. And then when you have the authenticity, and that's what you're breaking down, that's what you're metabolizing, that's when you find your position in the world and how you can best serve the world with your energy, and make everything practical around you, where you have enough, they have enough, everybody has enough, and of where your energy is distributed. And that doesn't mean everything in your life is perfect, but that means that the dispersion of the attention that you're putting into your life, everything's in the right place, and everything's balanced, and you're on that road to start on to fulfillment.
Yeah, I would say like what Caesar said with that. Like I would say I would agree with CJ because he said you gotta develop a healthy relationship with that like inner cricket, and you can't let him make you feel like emotionally damaged. You just gotta go along with the plan essentially. And I feel like this is gonna be like a great way to think about Virgo season, to appreciate the critics, your haters, your brother criticism, and all these people, even though it might be extreme, but if you take it to extreme level, you might be able to do something positive with it, and that might be make you stand out if you really think about it.
100%, man. Like that's what I used to do with my mom. My mom's a Taurus, so imagine me, my mom, Taurus moon. Actually, my dad was a Taurus too, which is kind of crazy. I have Saturn in Taurus, and then my mom has Saturn in Taurus too. So my mom has Moon and Saturn opposing my son. But it's always been like that, and it has like always been a clash with different ideas. You know, I'm talking about dreams and behind the scenes and the government's lying and shit like that. And she's like, who cares? How much money do you have? What can you pay for? All this different type of shit. But as I grew older, I started to understand like, whoa, like she's actually kicking game in terms
Yeah,
of I'm talking about my dream that I want to do, or I have this vision. You can't do this because you don't have this, that, or the third.
yeah,
Before, you would have been like, that doesn't matter, and you start clashing and stuff like that. But now I start, oh, she's right. I don't have this, that, and the third. Thank you for telling me that, because if I were to get this, that, and the third, then I would be able to fulfill that path in that dream. And now you're turning the criticism into it's a material, it's a beneficial material, and then I don't have to be offended because now I have more information. Now I have more things to go off of, and you could even look at it like what Harith was saying, like making use out of that criticism. So you have a good idea or a business plan or some shit like that, and you go and tell someone, and they go and criticize it, they go and trash it or something like that. Maybe the thing you can take away is that they're not your demographic. Maybe you don't need it. Maybe you need to target Christians, and that person's you know, so you don't waste your time on people like that because they give you the perspective, or because of what they said, you're like, oh yeah, yeah, college students would think that. So I shouldn't go to that with college students. I should go to the single moms or some shit, some shit like that. Where you can take that information and utilize it, and that's what mutable signs are all about. That transitory aspect of things, how you can transmute things into something a little bit more beneficial for yourself.
mhm. And a lot of when it comes to mutable energy, I feel like they lose energy very quickly because like they're not focused on like what they do. But since Virgo's ruled by Earth, they're a little bit more practical with their broadness and indecisiveness. It somehow leads. It has some form of practical outcome compared to Sagittarius, Pisces. They may go to La La Land and may not be able to like formulate like something because it's like energy leakage, if you get what I'm saying. It's a transition point. It's hard to get something fixed, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. It's like
So
capitalizing. Yeah.
yeah, no, continue.
I was like, just like how like the economy, how things are always switching and changing, and learning how to capitalize on those transitions is actually the hardest part of dealing with money.
A
Maybe you can
hundred
find
percent.
something that works and be stable in it, but the transitions, that's where it gets you.
100%, 100%.
100%. So this Virgo season, man, we really need to start building. Health is wealth, guys. Like on the highest level, on the highest level, you start taking better care of your body. When we're talking routines and patterns with Virgo, also rituals, and this is how you also start to frame your mind and start to organize yourself mentally. Once you start ritualizing certain aspects, attaching actions to thoughts, this is how you start tapping into these frequencies to be a channel, a vessel for specific energies to start coming through you, through those things. So really attaching actions, routines, patterns. Develop a routine for yourself, whether it's getting up 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning and working out, meditating, or whatever it is that you need to do to get yourself straight, yourself right. You start that shit. It's not, oh, later I'm gonna go. No, Virgo season's the time to do that shit, to get on that shit. And you're gonna realize that because the sun's in this sign, it's going to be easier to stick with your diet. It's going to be easier to get up and go to the gym. Look around you. Everybody's
Mhm.
gonna be in the same energy. Niggas is going back to school. Niggas is gonna be signing up for the gym. Watch. What? Oh, watch. You're probably within your life. Your friends gonna be like, "Yo, I just bought a new gym membership." All of a sudden, be like, "Oh, you want to go to the gym and lift weights with me? You better go with that motherfucker because that's Virgo speaking to you right then and there, giving you the opportunity. I'm trying to go to this new vegan joint. Over here. They serving burgers on beds of lettuce. You better go eat that motherfucking burger on a bed of lettuce and shit like that. Well, you don't have to eat the burger on a bed of lettuce, but that those are the examples that I mean, where those are the things that start to come up within our life because that's the vibe that everybody's on, that perfecting vibe. you know. And then everybody else is going to be worrisome too. Everybody else is going to be fucking trying to practicalize and doing all of that shit too. So if you don't have something for yourself to think about, and priority schedule it within yourself, watch you end up worrying about or just picking up on other people's stress and what they're worried about, and they're trying to
Yeah.
drag you into it, make you think about it, make you think it's important, and try and fix all of their problems, and now you have to worry about it. Now they're putting the whole shit on you.
Yeah, that's the worst part of Virgo energy because I can see it in my family. Sometimes when my dad worries, he comes down to speak to me and my brother, and for us to start, so we all start worrying together essentially.
And now it's your fault, and now
And
you're responsible.
those just niggas worrying together, it leads nowhere else.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It really do be like that, with that energy.
And like I remember too, the since we're doing Virgo energy, the bigger your dreams and illusion Pisces, like however you wanna see your dream life is, you gotta match it with like the enough Virgo energy because Virgo is what opposed Pisces. It's the only thing you could utilize to harness that energy down because it's the opposite.
100%. 100%. And that dichotomy too is reminding me where Virgo season, Virgo ruling the gut, Pisces ruling the skin, organelle version wise. Hey, buddy. But yeah, organ version wise, where if you don't have a clean colon, if you don't have a clean intestine, it's gonna show on your skin, and then you're not gonna be glowing. You're not gonna have that glowing presence. People aren't gonna look at you holistically or as if you're that practical because they're not seeing it. But with the clean internal environment, with everything processing working in there, your skin's gonna be glowing. You know, aka with a when you're able to prioritize and organize your actions and your priorities in life, and the thoughts that you metabolize, you're not going to have an unstable belief system. You're not going to have a detrimental or get lost in illusions, get lost in confusion and shit like that. It's going to be more imaginative, more creative type energy. So if you want to be creative, if you want imagine that expansive world, you better take Virgo seriously.
Yeah,
Because it's the only way you're gonna get it.
like a lot of people don't realize like when you do certain creative things it takes a lot of energy work like Dole also speaks about how you could burn an organ or a chakra if you overutilize it, like try to do something and you overwork it, and that's what tends to happen a lot for a lot of people that used to like overwork and then eventually them losing interest. So it's important to integrate this Virgo energy as like you're learning how to become your own like healer essentially.
100%. 100%. And that's so true with the chakras. That's what people don't understand. Psychologically, a lot of things that people deal with is projection. Like an image of an archetype that you hold within inside of you because of your disgruntledness, because of how you feel about Virgo or whatever. When you see that archetype play out in the world, you project those internal feelings, and then you don't get to metabolize the broader spectrum of energy in that chakra because of those distortions of the energy, if you get what I mean. Distortions within your solar plexus, your will.
Mm.
Maybe, and this is where you think you're having will or control or you're acting out of clear rational thought, but it's really just over controlling or highly possessive type of energy because of distortions within that solar plexus area. So 100% that level of balance is essential to avoid projection, because now you won't even know what energy you're metabolizing from the world, type of deal. And when we're talking about metabolism, this is Virgo, like this is all Virgo energy. Metabolism, how we break things down with and integrate them into our bodies has to be the highest focus right now.
It reminds me of Cancer energy where you have to self reflect, but with Virgo, you have to self reflect, like practicalize.
Exactly. It's a little bit more distant, where maybe the Cancer would empathize with you and cry with you and help you get over it there, but Virgo is going to help you clean up your room. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to help you actually do the practical steps You know, the Cancer's gonna help you cry it out, make you feel connected. You
Yeah,
know,
you feel
release.
better. All the
Yeah,
fluids in your body's moving.
you're
You feel
lighter.
emotion. Yeah.
Exactly. Virgo's the time to work for that shit. Virgo's really that time to work. So, um, here, do that. Eat greens, man. Eat lots of greens. Eat lots of fiber. That's a key. I guarantee. If you have a salad every day, Virgo season, you'll come out in Libra season looking brand new, brand new. Not even just on a physical level, but on a mental level, on an everyday level. Just for, and not even for eating the right foods or for being healthy, but for being on the right vibration with the universe. Really, and whatever type of fibers, it doesn't have to be lettuce. Fucking eat chia seeds or some shit like that. Make some chia pudding or some shit like that. Get the fiber to start cleaning out your colon. Take note of your colon. You know, or look at your shit in the toilet. It's analyze your shit in the toilet, so you can start seeing the state of being that's going on within your internal organs, with your internal life. You know, the internal workings of your mind too. Like really question some of your thoughts. Really in an honest capacity. Like what we were talking about earlier, that self-critic, balancing that self-critic is crucial. That's where those morning pages have really helped me with, and that's what they target. The inner critic, you know, kind of learning how to silence it at certain times. It's kind of like the parasympathetic system and the sympathetic system and the autonomic sympathetic system, or you know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the relax
And yeah, the
fight
fight
type
or
thing.
flight. Yeah, the fight or flight. Yeah.
It's not like the fight or flight's bad. You just don't want to be doing it all the time, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So you need the critic. Use your inner critic like a Pokemon. You know what?
Yeah,
Like,
hundred
legit,
percent.
bro.
Yeah,
Legit.
that's even a good analogy to all your organs and like your body systems, yo. You should use them with a certain wisdom. You can't like overutilize your physical body, overutilize your muscle, overutilize your brain, your senses, and like this is what happens in reality too, where we're taught to overload our senses to the point that physical reality and everything does not matter, yo. Like a
Literally.
lot of us are numb to everything. Like back then, people, when someone gets killed, everybody moves, everybody wants to know what happened. Now since
Literally.
everybody played Call of Duty, we've been brain dead.
Desensitized.
If we hear someone died, we don't care, yo. We keep it moving. Yo, we got fucked.
We're making a meme about it. We're gonna make a meme and joke about it.
100%, yo. Like memes are modern day Egyptian hieroglyphics. So
Yo,
we're
dead
doing the same
ass.
things we've been doing a long time ago.
Yo, when I was looking at thumbnails and studying thumbnails, like that thought came to me. I'm like, yo, like, is the ancients really just making memes? I'm like, yo, what's happening, yo?
Yeah.
It's jokes. The meme is probably older than books. Like the
Yeah,
meme is older than
yeah,
civilization. You know, like that
100%,
type
yo.
of shit.
I'm telling you, Egypt, Atlantis exist online, yo.
Literally, 100%. The pyramids, 100%, 100%. That's the energy. Maybe real quick, just real quick, we can go through some of the aspects that would be the
Yeah,
sun was gonna be making. Um, sun will be making this
I,
Virgo season.
I think Mercury entered Virgo before the sun too, and it started retrograding too. That's literally the most Virgo shit ever.
Mercury just trying to get ahead to type of
Yeah,
shit.
and then went back as the sun entered Virgo. I was like, yo, it can't get more Virgo than this.
Literally, literally. But yeah, this shit wide. Y'all can see that good, eh? You can see that.
Yeah, not too bad.
All right, yeah, bless. So yeah, this is today, the 27th. So we have Virgo 4 degrees in, and it's already opposing Saturn. So I can tell you about that. Like with me, my sun opposes Saturn. almost direct, like off a couple degrees. So it's always been an issue or a battle with the government for me. It's always been me versus authority type of deals. So with that energy going on right now, I bet a lot of people will be going through that. Where it might feel like it's them against authority right now. And look at the dynamic. Saturn being in Pisces, Sun in Virgo. Maybe we're trying to organize and take control and practicalize our own lives, but limited beliefs are holding us back, or authorities that are imposing limited beliefs, limited imaginations, or trying to impose a belief system on us that is conflicting with us trying to practicalize and schedule our stuff like that. Maybe even like some pandemic stuff. With this alignment, they're starting to talk about mask mandates are on the rise, or
Yeah,
supposed to be
yeah.
coming back and shit like that. Sun Saturn opposition, for sure. Where it being health in terms of Virgo too, where and it's funny in Canada they're passing a law where it's going to be illegal to sell herbal supplements. Where you can't sell herbs in Canada anymore. They're passing a law to ban herbs, the selling of herbs, so that these pharmaceutical companies can start monopolizing. But we don't even get me into that. But these are themes of a Sun Saturn opposition, and that we're gonna have to be dealing with. So that's an interesting alignment that we're gonna have to be dealing with. And then as we go through more of Virgo season, a lot of themes with that Saturn energy I see playing out. And then eventually we're gonna get, especially with this retrograde, look at Mercury meeting back up with the Sun in Virgo on close to Labor Day weekend, the 4th, where they meet exactly, do that little switcheroo
Labor
on the
Day.
5th. On Labor Day, Virgo.
That's
Oh
crazy.
shit, yo,
That's so funny.
right? Yo, like when I tell niggas, like niggas be talking about, oh, we're living in a simulation. Like I'm like, y'all don't even really understand what that means. It bothers me when niggas say that shit, because it's like you don't realize that you're so trapped in a specific mindset that
Yeah,
it,
like
it
the
doesn't have to be a simulation.
any person who call it a stimulation is an NPC himself.
Literally, where that's the best way that you can imagine a predetermined destiny, or world with exterior forces, not God. We can't contemplate God. No, we're inside of a computer, inside of a chip, something that you
You,
do.
you,
That's what's being like what, like
like
what?
a lot of people, reality is someone else's imagination. Like that's a crazy part about the world.
Literally, literally. But you
Like
don't
someone like
realize.
someone like someone like Fort Class, someone came up with the idea, and it's someone else like whole life. Like
Literally, you just smell it sniffing up that far cloud. Like real shit, yo. Holding it in deep into the lungs, like real shit. But yeah, all of this shit is crazy how it works out. Where you don't realize that the world that we're living in is designed off of the planets, and all of this shit's not random. When we're talking about being in these specific energies, the reason why the shadow government is ruling your ass, and you have to pay a third of your check to an organization, is because they're structured and going based off of these cycles.
and
They are doing it. There's
e-
proof. Labor Day,
and
Virgo season. Like what?
even if you the reason you come up with to justify why you're paying it, they give you that. Like like that's the craziest part. They give you your arguments and they give you how to like argue these arguments. Like bro, that's crazy. The
Real shit. On some Andrew Tate shit where he's like, I'm breaking out of the Matrix, or I'm above the Matrix by playing the exact game that the Matrix had told me to play, and being good at it. This is how I broke out of the Matrix. Like what?
and he beats Andrew Tate is basically a person looking up to Lucifer, and he decided to become a mini Lucifer. And basically,
Literally, thinking that he's separating You know, that he could be just as good as Lucifer, just as good as the shadow government, and separate and create his own thing. And but got the rude awakening that it don't work like that. 100%. How do you think this not only this meet up with Mercury with the Sun in Virgo, but this trine that it's making with Jupiter and Uranus? How do you think that's gonna play out?
I feel like this should help you catch up and pick up on a lot of ways on how you could integrate these information and what type of expansion you've been building on Taurus, and what type of uniqueness and originality you've been working on with Mercury catch up to the sun. It's almost like the sun, you're aware of what to do and things like that, but as you're going throughout your journey, Mercury comes back, conjunct your awareness, and you figure out that detail that helps you to pick, basically work with Jupiter and Uranus.
100%. Where it aligns your thoughts with your focus and what you're seeing within the world, and it's a whole new level of clarity. And I feel it too. Like people don't really realize it. Like you kind of get those when the sun meets up with Mercury. It's kind of like those aha moments, those subtle aha moments where just an idea that you're thinking of or that you're trying to work out before but couldn't find that conclusive thought or couldn't find that link. Now you can kind of find that link, and now it's like a neurological pathway exists that didn't exist before. That's literally how it feels. And now you're able to think with a little bit more of a clarity, with a little bit more know-how, a little bit more forward and progressing with those thoughts. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Jupiter and Uranus is just waiting. They're shaking shit up, changing, morphing everything, creating all these different new situations. Like we don't even know what value is anymore. We don't know what's valuable anymore. What stability is anymore. It's so malleable. But now's the opportunity to change it because of that malleability. So yeah, a big opportunity for growth of September 5th. Really bet on a certain level of clarity coming around you where you can take advantage of certain growth opportunities, certain situations, a certain level of clarity, putting two and two together, more mental organization, and you're going to start to see an opportunity for expansion coming up based off of your gifts, talents, your resources, whatever it is that you can provide for a level of growth. And because you have more of that mental organization, that growth is exponential now. A lot of people have value, or they think that they have value, and they talk about having value, but even if they are do have value and they are talented, their mind is discombobulated. That's the hood in a nutshell, bro. I swear to God, niggas is out here like so much potential, so much ability in the
Yeah.
hood, but it's just discombobulated. Niggas will have the entrepreneurial acumen of Jeff Bezos, but they selling weed at the corner store. It's like damn. And then you be talking to them about selling weed at the corner store, and they telling you all of this different elaborate shit that they be doing, these different marketing schemes that they have, and it's like damn nigga, like anything else. You don't want to be stuck in that where you have potential and it doesn't utilize. I'd rather be a useless ass nigga. Nah, I'm just joking. I'd rather have the potential. I'd rather have the possibility. I'd rather have it. So yeah, and then we have the trine. When we have the new moon going on. Whoa, the new moon in Virgo season on the 14th of September is going to be really close to Neptune. Really close to Neptune in Pisces with that opposition. How do you think that's going to affect this new moon? Having Neptune and Pisces opposing the new moon.
It's interesting because you're having this new moon there in the end of like Virgo season,
Mm-hmm.
and it's almost like as you're going throughout your practicalizing your routines and your patterns, with the new moon is giving this new emotional energy, but Neptune is creating a lot of illusions and confusion on how you could go about this routine you've been building on, and you're having the sense of optimism about it.
100%. Where you might really be confronted with a belief system or with an illusion and really have to make sense out of it. I see a big confrontation that can happen with this new moon where, depending on the energy too, like you may not want to be privy to the truth or to receive the information that you have, but you would be the better for it. And you can make wiser decisions because you do know, even though you may not have wanted to know, or the reality that was revealed, it's not something that's desirable. When we're talking about Neptune, a lot of the times there's a suffering connotation, because when you're under an illusion, you're suffering.
Yeah, like
And
a self sabotaging energy. And I feel like the new moon will put you in that emotional space to be open, to maybe receive it in a better place, even though it's a heavy opposition. But it's way better than not having the new moon there.
it's like your friend finally sat you down and and made you think about how I was just thinking made you think about how it's impossible for Mary to to give birth to a baby without having sex. But you were a Christian missionary your whole life. You doing all that. Look at that. My nigga, really sit down. Really sit down. Like really think about this. How the hell did she have a baby?
You
Yeah,
100.
God did it. But you asking the nigga, really? Okay. God bust a nut, or it was a holy sperm. So, what had happened? Then you try and work it out, and then it's like that type of confrontation where it's like you want to believe in what you were told, or in the illusion, because Jesus is gonna come down and save everybody, right? And Jesus represents forgiveness, right? So you don't want to question his origin story because that could bring his other stories into question. But then with the Virgo, you don't realize that reality is going to be shattered. But when you're genuine for truth and you're genuine to being of service to God, that doesn't break down your belief systems. It helps reinforce them based off of more practical and stable aspects, where you start to let go of the literal aspects, and maybe you start to pierce deeper into the spiritual meaning of it, because you realize you can't hold on to the literal. She couldn't have been give birth a virgin. So you let go of fighting on that cross and be like, okay, what is the philosophy, and what is the way of life, and what is the spiritual connotation? Not being stuck on, no, she gave birth to a baby. I'm not getting stuck on that story. If you get what I mean.
Bro, that whole description gave me the vibe of a Christian representing Pisces energy, debating his belief, his meaning and reasonings, and then the Virgo energy representing like Islam or something like that, and trying
Yo.
to tell him the truth and trying to practicalize it. And then if he could break through that, he could he could become aware of new things in his life.
Really, and then the Muslim and Christian become brothers now, where they can understand based off the spiritual aspects. Like that's a perfect example, because the Christian's gonna be dying. Mary gave birth to a baby, and then the Muslims gonna be so adamant on disproving that. But where they can come together is the philosophy of forgiveness, God being the Most High, like all of those aspects. But when they're really open to it with the new moon, if they're really, say, both in the vibe of making it make sense and making it work, and trying to bring the other person, where they're not being critical, the judgmental, you're stupid, you don't know what you're talking about. They're really trying to help the person understand. They're really trying to help themselves understand. This is how you can break through, shatter any illusion, with that genuinity and just trying to understand. It's because you don't make that illusion solid now. It stays mist. And that's what it's supposed to be. It's okay to have mist around you. Just don't think that it's solid. And don't forget, or be able to not be able to distinguish whether what's solid and what's mist from this new moon. But it's going to be hitting us, and you're going to have to want to believe in the truth, because it's going to be easier to believe in the lie in this new moon. And then you're already on the wrong steps for Libra season if you're going to believe in the lie and run away from this full moon energy.
100%, 100%.
And then finally say that that trine with Pluto. How do you think that trine with Pluto on the 21st? 20th. How do you think Pluto in Capricorn is going to add to Virgo season?
Ooh, that's like Leo season is like you finished like whatever expressing whatever you wanted being on the stage. Virgo season like you're going through management, and then that try is you finding like kind of meeting the final boss or the final like leader in the record label is gonna sign you off, and you see and basically that's it.
Literally, like sign you off to the
it,
big leagues,
it's like
right?
it's like that handshake at the end. Basically, that's the trine between Pluto and Capricorn and the Sun and
Literally.
Virgo. But like, if you have been not been putting work, practicalizability on your routine, then you're gonna be extremely nervous as you go through this. What could have been an opportunity, but you know you can't afford it because you did not build the work for it,
Whoa, that's facts. So yeah, maybe you're shaking the hand and signing the deal, but
and then
then
your
you
hand
go and
breaks.
yeah. Legit,
Like Pluto
legit.
Capricorn pulls a gun and shoots you. You're some you fraud.
Yo, literally, or even you go on stage and you flop, and because you didn't do the Virgo, you didn't do the due diligence, and now you're in debt. You sold a multi-million-dollar deal, but now you're in debt. You owe the money because you couldn't come up with this, or the tickets didn't sell that well, or whatever done deal, or they could have shaken hands and you went off to superstardom, and then you went off to a whole new level to where now you're the record deal guy and giving up record deals and shit like that.
And not all opportunities that trans brings are good opportunities, and I hope like Virgo season should bring that mental cerebral effect so you could know on what deals to take from Pluto and Capricorn, because like Pluto and Capricorn is like helping everybody, like the government's giving loud loans to everybody, getting
Yeah,
random opportunities. You could take some of them, but like you're not supposed to take all of them, like not the vaccine. You may take the checks and like and shit like that.
yeah. Literally, where you can pick and choose where you're in a position of more leverage, where you can transform when you're in a position of more leverage and transformations forced upon you. Now you can transform in different ways. There's more versatility to your transformation. Whereas when the world's closing in on you and you haven't been doing that work, you have no choice but to say to transform into what you're being forced to transform into.
This is why it's always rappers complaining about getting robbed in record deals. It's never the management's ever. It's the management. The management already got their bread and left the game. Like you never hear about them like dealing with nothing.
And you only get into those situations when you don't have any leverage. Like maybe all you've been thinking about is signing the deal, so you didn't create any infrastructure for a fan base. You didn't learn about distribution. You didn't learn about any of that to create leverage. So when you sign the deal, they don't have to rape you for everything, or a little bit more about what it is that you're doing. No, you were too busy worrying about how the label was gonna take it, or you're too busy worrying about the lyrics that you were writing down, or different aspects of it where you weren't dialed in.
Mhm.
So dial in this Virgo season. But yeah, I guess we can end it there. That's Virgo season right there. Like I said, eat a lot of fiber, guys. Health is wealth. Watch what you're eating, and try and eat light. The lighter that you eat, the clearer your mind is gonna be, and then the more ability you will have to be able to handle this mental thing. And that's what I'm saying. With the fiber, it's gonna clear your colon. You won't be as gut heavy. I guarantee you'll be making better decisions and be capitalizing on things a whole lot better just by being on the vibe Virgo's supposed to be on.
And like pay attention towards your mental faculty and learn how not to worry so much about health. Because sometimes Virgo's the healer, but that's because they destroy their own health, so they know how to put it back
Oh,
together. So kind of remember that. Keep it on mind.
real shit, real shit. That's real shit. And be learning from your Virgos. Like what he just said. Watch how they destroy themselves and shit like that. They're gonna be the examples for everybody, so you can avoid the pitfalls that's coming. You can see your Virgo friend and how they're stressing on everything and how they choose to particularly focus on this one particular negative detail and stuff like that, and let that serve as an example of the pit that you can fall into if you were to start to manage the energy wrong. So yeah, peep game for that.
100%. I'm trying to find a friend within that self-critic energy.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Because it's gonna help you learn how to mitigate that, and how to make it work. How to make it work.
Like if you criticize yourself hard, like other people criticize, it's not gonna be that bad. Like if you do like extremely harsh too, you'll be like nothing. Like you've been through worse. It's like with Virgos, whatever they criticize you on, they criticize themselves like way worse. Trust me,
Way
like way
worse, yeah.
worse. You don't even hear it, yo. They are the self critic themselves.
100%. Anything that you can say to them, they already said to themselves. And they actually know the truth about what they did. And you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, that's Virgo season, guys. Stay up, and thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Check out our website,
Take care,
truespace.biz.
guys.
Yeah, check out our Instagram, truespace_, and yeah, we'll catch you guys on the flip.
Easy.